Hey everyone, today we'll be building an arcade stick. I've been wanting to do something like this for years. Despite not being very good at fighting games, I very much enjoy them. And something that helps make the experience more fun for me is an arcade stick. With fighters, I'll take a good micro switch over membrane buttons or analog sticks any day. Of course, arcade sticks aren't exclusively for fighting games, but that's what I'll be focusing on here. The concept is pretty simple: a case, a joystick, a couple of buttons, some wiring, and a circuit board. But because it's so simple, there are so many ways you can go about it, and here's what I want to do. I like King of Fighters, Dead or Alive, and Tekken, and I want to play them on PC, though PS3 and PS4 functionality would be nice. The layout is as common can be: joystick, 8 buttons, which are equivalent to the controller's face buttons and triggers. We also need start and select buttons, as well as the home and touchpad buttons for console functionality. For the PCB, I picked the Brook PS3, PS4 PC fight board. This one's pre-installed, so no need to solder anything, and it includes all the wiring you need. Just follow the wiring diagram, and there's no need to worry about any 8-minute timeout nonsense on the PS4 either. There are a lot of different PCBs you can choose from, and which one you get depends on what you want to do with it. Places like Focus Attack sell a bunch of them, so I recommend checking out what they have to see what fits your needs. I decided to go with a clear acrylic case from Tek-Innovations. It's a good incentive for me to do everything properly and keep all the wiring nice and tidy, so if it looks messy, I've got no one to blame but myself. This isn't exactly the sturdiest material ever, so consider using a more traditional style case if you need something beefier. I actually failed hardcore when ordering this, because I forgot to specify cutouts on the side for the console-specific buttons I mentioned earlier. No home button means I can't even turn it on, and no touchpad button means I can't bring up all the menus I need to on the PS4. I did wire in some temporary buttons, and it does work on both the PS3 and PS4. I guess I'll be using this on PC only for now. Luckily, all the games I want to play are on the PC anyways. What a stupid error to make though. I'm going to be using a Sanwa JLF joystick and Sanwa buttons. Another popular brand is Seimitsu. I like Sanwa buttons a bit more because they require less force to press compared to Seimitsu. There are other brands to choose from too, of course. You can do some research on the internet about that. I always recommend trying things out for yourself if possible. Buttons aren't terribly expensive, so it's not too difficult to buy a few and try them out. 30mm buttons are used for the top and 24mm for the side. My preferred joystick is a Seimitsu LS58 because it has a shorter throw than the Sanwa, but I'm using the JLF because I like something different every now and then, and I have one laying around anyways. When putting the case together, it pays to go slow. We don't want to scratch the finish. There is a tutorial video from Tek-Innovations that shows you how to put everything together. I actually had a bit of trouble following the instructions though, so I diverged from the tutorial a little. I personally found it easiest to screw all the side panels together first. That's by far the fiddliest bit. The buttons just snap onto the top layer, so no problems there. For the joystick, I ordered a new ball top, dust cover, and base plate because aesthetics. There's a screw on the bottom that you need to hold in place to get the ball off. Then install the joystick to the panel that's right below the top panel. The dust cover and ball top can be installed at the end. Just remember to make sure that the joystick's the right way around. The connector is supposed to point to the right. The case comes with a PCB holder, which is nice, and it can be positioned as needed. I went full JDM and cable tied the thing on, but you can get feet for it if you prefer. The wires just plug into their respective plugs. The Focus Attack side has a handy wiring diagram, which tells you which wire goes where. Make sure the 8 face buttons are laid out like shown here. There's one common ground, which is a bit annoying because you have to daisy chain all the buttons. Before zip tying everything in place, I gave it a quick test just to make sure I didn't mix up any of the buttons. In order to make the USB cable detachable, I installed a Neutrik AB USB feed-through, which needs to be reversed, and a little USB AB cable which goes from the PCB to the pass-through connector. With that done, all that was left was to attach the bottom panel and the feet. And this is the end result. This was my first time building an arcade stick, though I swapped out parts before on my old Conva Q4. I have to say I found it challenging to record and assemble this thing at the same time. I kept getting distracted with full memory cards and empty batteries, but if you take your time, the whole process isn't too difficult, and I found it very enjoyable. It works, looks great, I learned new things, and now I have something I can be proud of. Hopefully you enjoyed this slightly different video. I really like doing builds like this, so hopefully that's something I'll get to do more often. If you want to support me, you can check out Patreon and get access to my Patreon-only feed, which is where I post quite a lot of updates. I'm not updating my Twitter as often as I should, but you can also follow me there if you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.